Welcome to TLC, where we dive into the heart of our local community, its wineries, restaurants, business, and real estate. Hi, I'm Troy Anderson, the host of TLC, along with my co-host Pamela, and we are here to bring you a new perspective on what's happening in our community. This week, we also have a guest, Dave from Woodinville Sauce Company. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's great being here.
It's going to be a tasty addition today.
Woodinville Sauce Company. That's an
I
awesome
know.
name. Like
Yeah,
that.
we are spicing this up.
Yeah.
I like my play on words. What can I say? Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. Are we ready to just dive straight into segment one, our sipping on success?
Sipping on success. Yeah. So this week I've got a bottle of Matthew's Sauvignon Blanc. And since we're going into summertime, this is a great back porch, back patio.
Don't say
drinker.
it. He likes to call it a porch pounder, and I don't think it's very elevated.
It's not elegant, no. But this is a great wine to sip on while you're tending the barbecue
Yes.
in the backyard.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay, and today's a perfect day for this. We've got beautiful sunshine here in Woodinville. It really feels a little bit more like summer than spring. But
Yes.
I'm appreciative. It's a white wine for a change instead of, nothing wrong with red, but now and again he'll bring a white one in for me to try.
Pamela does like the white better.
Well, I grew up in Germany, so white wine was more what we drank.
Is that where your accent's from?
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
clearly I have a German accent. Perfect. Okay, well this looks.
Cheers.
All right, cheers everybody.
Cheers.
I love that we've got the Woodinville wine country glasses again, Troy.
Yes, and those are available now at 6 or 9 different wineries around town. They're doing a special pour in the commemorative glass that you get to take home. So
Great. I need a set of these at home because
Yeah.
I need more glasses. But all right, so you guys talk about it. Tell me what you think while I have my first sip.
okay. Well, I think it's crisp and it's light and bright. It's a 2021, so it's pretty young. Most white wines you don't really age them too much. They're kind of go in the bottle, and the next year or two you sell them,
Okay.
and then you pretty much want to drink them right away.
All right. What do you think, Dave?
I think it's good.
Just
Just a little sweet.
Throw you under the limelight.
You getting
there,
sweet? It's pretty sweet.
It has a little bit
Is
of
that-
residual sugar left. It seems like, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not like
Nothing wrong
drinking
with it,
a Chenin Blanc or
Right.
something like that has a much higher sugar content. But it does have that little sweetness that rolls off the tongue. But there's some really distinctive flavors in there. What are you getting?
Well, Sauvignon Blancs definitely have a distinct flavor. They have a lot of like grapefruit or citrusy notes at the end.
Yep. I'm tasting a little melon as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say that. And there's a bit of a chewiness in the back, like an apricot, a little bit.
Oh, look at this!
Well,
He's getting chewy on us.
Yeah, well, you know, and I like chewy red wines because
Okay.
they go with my sauces, right? A little something you can bite on, and when I said it was sweet, it does sit there for me, which I really like. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, a little bit of fruit forward, which
Yeah.
Sauv Blancs can be more acidy.
Sure.
More,
I was
Exactly.
going to say you sometimes you expect a Sauvignon Blanc to have a little bit more of an acid tone to
Right.
it, and this really doesn't. It's
No,
really
it's nice.
soft and mellow, and it just it does make your mouth water. If you let it sit there, it's those bits on the side of your tongue. It's I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's me. You guys carry on. I'm just going to sit here and drink my wine. I'm out. Just kidding.
It is hump day, right?
It is.
Wait,
Yes.
We're on the way.
We're on the way. Okay, so what you're a chef.
Mhm.
What would you pair this with?
Well, I was thinking of some of my sauces right off the bat, but I definitely would do. Obviously, you want to do your fish and stuff, but I'm thinking like a spicy shrimp.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Because that sweetness would need to be cut a little bit, and
Right.
just,
Right.
But you want that crisp shellfish type. That's kind of where my head was going, not just halibut or
sounds
something
good.
like that, but salmon. Yeah, obviously. But that one right there with a little bit of bite to that sweet
Okay.
sweet thickness we're getting back there, I think would be excellent. But
Cool.
that's kind of where my head was going.
Yeah.
I love that this flavour just really holds in the mouth. You know, we tried one the other week and you said that there was, you know, you kept the flavour for quite some time after you swallowed. This has the same idea
same
to it, even though
characteristic,
it's a white wine. You don't necessarily, well, I personally don't necessarily always see that with a white wine, but for this one it really does hold.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Matthews is a local vintner, and they produce high quality wines. So you know you're going to go to the grocery store and get a regular twist off cap Sauv Blanc. It's going to taste a little different than this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a little more robust, a little more. I think love goes into the winemaking there.
Okay, passion project on this wine.
I enjoy Matthews.
Yeah,
Been
Matthews is
there.
great. Got awesome reds too.
Yeah, they do.
But we're talking about the whites today.
I know, and they're
There you go.
They're probably they're not the oldest winery in Woodinville, but they're definitely some of the founding.
Okay.
They're one of the founding wineries.
So why, other than the fact that I like a white wine, why did you choose this one?
Well, because the sun is out and it makes me happy,
Okay.
and so Sauv Blanc's kind of my go-to. It's a red wine drinker's white wine.
Oh, interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay, never heard anybody say that before. Okay.
Yeah, it's. So did you know Cabernet Sauvignon is a blend of Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc?
I didn't, but I
it's a
do
hybrid.
now.
Yeah. So it's a hybrid of a red and white.
Look at me, I'm learning something again this week.
Yep.
Every week, Troy is the master of teaching me things about wine.
Learning
And our
something
listeners.
new every week,
Yeah.
right?
It makes the world go round.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, any other final notes on this?
No,
wine?
I'm enjoying it. You
Yeah.
pair it with spicy seafood, Thai food would be great too,
Oh,
right?
absolutely, and that's why I said that. So the Dos Haches there makes
That's
a
your
great,
sauce?
Yeah, it makes a great cocktail shrimp. And I'm thinking,
Oh.
a day like today,
Oh.
just
Yes.
do that quick blanch in your bath or whatever you do, and then just cool it off, get it nice and cold, and just a little bit of that, toss it, and so nice.
Shrimp
Yep,
and those little bits of celery. I can taste it now.
Yeah.
I would maybe do it with, if somebody doesn't like seafood, I would maybe do it with like a chicken shish kebab.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Some really nice, maybe some of your spicy sauce, or maybe
Or-
one of the other ones that we're going to talk about later. Let's not give all the game away right now.
No.
But with a salad or something like that,
Sure.
if you want something a little lighter,
Yeah.
or you could just sit and drink it by itself, some cheese and crackers.
Well, it holds up to
On the
spice, though, right?
Yeah.
So saying that,
No,
like a curry would be excellent. You said
Yeah.
a Thai,
Yeah.
an Indian kebab. Like I used to
Yeah.
kebab, I went to Murg Malai right away. A nice creamy. Oh, that'd be
Or a
nice.
chicken korma or something. Chicken
Yeah.
korma is a little lighter on the spice, but a chicken tikka masala or something like that would be.
Fine too.
Okay, I'm
I'm
going
hungry
home.
now.
I'm hungry. Did we just have lunch?
No. Sounds good.
All right, well, that's fantastic. All right, we're going to take a really quick break right now, and when we come back, we're going to dig into the sauces with Dave.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk
All
about
right. So
everything
we'll be-
Woodinville wines. Or not Woodinville Sauce Company.
Hey, they go together.
Yeah,
It's-
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just so used to saying Woodinville wine.
All right, we'll be right back after this very short break. Stay tuned.
Hey there, homeowners and home buyers. If you're looking for a real estate team who genuinely cares about your needs, Tend Home Team is here for you. We're not just focused on making sales, but on building long-term relationships with our clients and serving our wonderful community. Whether you're buying or selling, let us guide you through the process and help you achieve your real estate goals. Connect with Tend Home Team today and discover.
Welcome back to TLC, 10 Life Community Podcast, with your host, Troy Anderson. That's not me. And I'm the co-host, Pamela. And we're here with a special guest this week. Our guest is Dave Holthus with Woodinville Sauce Company. And he's going to delight us with what he has for everybody to enjoy. So let's kick it off.
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
Tell us a little bit about Woodinville Sauce Company, how it started, and maybe a little bit about you.
You'd be surprised how many sauce companies have come out of the COVID pandemic. And I say that not because
really?
of COVID. There's a lot of creative minds right now out there trying to figure out, or we're trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Executive chef for years, standalones, corporate, Microsoft for 6, running those big cafes with,
Right.
I had 3
sure
sous
that's
chefs
stressful.
under me and 40 employees and doing food that,
Wow.
if you've ever been to Microsoft, it's incredible.
Okay.
And the programs we create are all from scratch, and they're really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So doing that, and then getting in with a guy that I met through their standalone fast casual Korean place, and he got me out of the corporate because I'm ready for a change, ready to get back into the small and the unique, and we're starting to expand. Things were going pretty good, but COVID hit.
Yeah.
Brand new shop just opened up. He had 2. We're going to go on 3. Back down to 1.
Oh, boy.
And speaking of community, you got to take care of the people that work for you, and
sure.
we needed to keep them there. And I said, well, I guess I'm going to have to fold it in.
Right.
But there's silver lining to that, because
Of course.
I get to go home now and be with my twin daughters who are 6 years old at the time, and teach them how to use the computer and how to
Yeah,
take
to get
online
school
classes.
online.
Oh my God. But get to know them again. My wife is aviation planner and very talented, and a VP in her position, and going.
Wow.
And I was going corporate chef. We were just going, and
Right.
Sometimes you go, oh, the kiddos,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's going on with them, and it was really cool to get to go back to them, and then we get to slow down for a second. So there was silver lining in it. Yeah, there was a lot of ugliness to it too. I get it. It wasn't the best time. But in that year and a half of kind of just mulling around in my head, the sauce thing came together.
Okay.
Thousands of recipes over the years. What do you do?
Yeah.
Oh, let's make sauce. I want to try it. But it really comes back from my past. My dad was in manufactured products, and before I was a chef, I was always a cook, because in college you had to have a job. That's what I did. I was in the restaurant business, and my dad, he had a good business, but he's, you need to learn hard knocks. You need to get your own car. You got
Right.
So you're working. So that's what I did, and right out of college, I have a management marketing degree actually, and right out of college, I was always cooking, but that was my degree. I worked for him, and was calling us on Kroger in Cincinnati on buyers, for manufactured products like sauce. So I had an introduction to that really early on.
Right.
Didn't
So
like
the seed
it.
was planted a long,
You didn't
long
like it?
time ago.
Yeah. No,
Now we're going full
didn't like it.
circle.
I really didn't like it. I liked the kitchen. I liked the restaurant industry. So a friend of mine was working Palomino Restaurants, which was an RUI group.
Yeah.
Chain, the one here is no longer, but he said, just come in, just do it. And before I started going to culinary school by night, working the day job, calling on the buyers. I did that I've already had a degree, but I did that for, about a year. A lot of technical stuff, learning technical things. But he's like, just come in the kitchen, just come work for Palomino. And that's where you really learn.
Right.
And we can go forever about that. But I did that for a while and just loved it. And my wife's like, you're happy now. Yeah, you're not making the same money. Not even close, but it didn't matter.
Right.
So that was a big change in my life and on the journey of becoming a chef. From there, it was travel. We were moved to India, Mumbai, India.
Wow.
And I'm Aapka naam kya hai? Thoda Hindi. So I have a lot of experience with masalas and things because of that experience.
Right.
But we did travel there and lived there for 2 years.
Oh, wow, what an experience.
That's
that's
interesting.
That's where Dos Haches really kind of
Okay.
came together for me. Even though it's on an Indian flavor profile, it's 5 different chilies working together to still be able to taste what's happening. It was really a fun one for me to create. I took a lot of the tempering of spices and things I learned from Indian cuisine to do that right. Because you can lose it, and typically a hot sauce is, 1 chili and a vinegar, and
Yeah.
it's really kind of simplistic, and you're just getting that habanero with a little mango, and it tastes really nice. But this is 5 chilies, and it's kind of like a full smoky flavor. and
Right,
it's
so
pretty
making
neat.
sure that you don't
Wow.
lose the flavor and it's all heat, right?
Yeah,
and then you
right.
like turn people
Yeah,
off
they're like,
from that.
"Ah,"
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
What I thought was interesting there is, this came about through the pandemic, and
Yeah, I digressed a little. I'm
no,
sorry.
that's fine. And I was just going to say,
No, we're tracking
what
you.
what I really appreciate about that is, as awful as it was, there was definitely this time for people to be creative, and you saw so many small businesses pop up out of that, not necessarily through necessity, but really because they had time to really think about what the passion was and how they could bring value to themselves, their families, and their community. So I applaud
Sure.
you for that. But
Yeah.
you said you were doing the chef bit at Microsoft. Which is more stressful, the Microsoft chef, or starting your own business and creating these sauces?
The Microsoft chef, I think for a lot of reasons, but I grew up in a household. My dad always kind of did his own thing, and I was involved in all of that, and it was a big part of who he was and kind of who I was deep down. And I really was getting worried. I'm 44 now, so I'm not old, but I was getting worried that if I kept climbing this corporate ladder and doing well, which is fine, it's great, money's amazing, things like that, but I won't get the opportunity to do it myself, and I'm having, even though it's not huge and it takes time, I'm having, I think I have a piece of me, how I really saw myself more now than I did before, which brings less stress in my life.
Yeah.
I was going to comment and just say I can see your background in the label. I can just see the label is beautiful. I mean, it's well put together. It's not, it doesn't look like it's, you know, done in your garage. It's very, very, very professional. And you've got, you know, all the things you would want to learn about this quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
There's
I guess that's
some
from a
elegant-
marketing degree.
Yeah, I
Right.
was going to say, I think, you know, that's, and then
Yeah.
and then the Indian spices are inside, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's well
That's neat.
thought out, simple elegance, this
Yep.
bottle. And I think you can
I
say...
enjoy that.
Can you guess why?
I'm in marketing too. So. Well, I'm assuming it's simple elegance because the ingredients are simple. And that brings me on to my next question, which was, you know, your sauces are locally, they're locally sourced and made in small batches. So tell us more about the ingredients and how you source them.
Okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit on that.
Okay.
So, to your point, I wanted to create a brand.
Yeah.
And for me,
Branding's important.
it's important. And what better than Woodinville?
Right.
I mean,
in total agreement.
every time I come down the hill, I get little chills and going down Woodinville, even though I live here. It's just, it's such an interesting, great feeling. So Woodinville needed to be simple elegance, and that's what I think this town is elegant. It's beautiful, but it's also not, you know, pretentious and. You know, it's simple. It's still small town kind of feel, which is great, you know, and I wanted that to be on the bottle. So it almost looks like I put it next to Matthews there, and they look like they should be next to each other, right?
Yeah.
It's a wine bottle. So that's why those things.
Yeah.
It is a wine bottle, isn't it? It's just a
A
mini
mini
little baby
version.
one.
Yeah, for everyone on camera.
Exactly. But as far as the question with the ingredients, so it's really hard for someone as small as me to get everything local.
Right.
So I do the best I can, and I have to be honest with that one because you want to make sure the ingredients are called out and you tell the story correctly. But where I can, I get them, and it's Skagit Valley or it's Oregon sometimes, just depending. Especially with my Blackberry Grill Sauce, which is not here. It has majority ingredients is blackberry, which is great for a barbecue sauce. Although when you taste it, you're like, no, this is a barbecue sauce. This is not
Really? Blackberry?
a fruit sauce. But that's and my idea was I like a sweet baby raisin, but when you look at them today, where 20 years ago the first ingredient in there now is corn syrup,
That's terrible.
and it's not. It's all filler stuff, and you're like, gosh, you know, it's too bad.
Yeah.
You know, so mine blackberry is the first ingredient, and
Right.
it's all unrefined sugar. So,
Yeah.
but yes, I do the best I can, and I could pick every ingredient part. Really doesn't matter. But you reach out to local companies who actually grab some of these ingredients for me. So at least that is a business in my backyard.
There's
as well.
intentionality to that,
Absolutely.
right? Even if you can't source it on your doorstep, you're trying to be as local as possible. You know, whether it's here in Washington or neighboring Oregon, you're not necessarily having it shipped from thousands of miles away if you can help it.
Absolutely.
But there's that, like I said, that intentionality of it to be as local as possible, and I think that just helps build community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the goal. And I think as I grow and I'm being supported, which is it's been a wonderful year and a half. It really has. It's been moving fast and been selling very well. That will continue. Sammamish Farms and I are trying to collab on some ingredients for another sauce. And some of these other growers like the lavender over here by Chateau would like to do a dessert sauce.
JB,
Oh,
JB
so-
Farm, yep.
We're,
So, JB
we're
Farm,
fans of JP.
JB,
Farm.
yep.
JB.
We certainly are. So you've got 3 sauces right now?
3, yeah.
Okay, so tell us about those so that people that aren't aware of Woodinville Sauce Company can rush out and go get some.
Okay, so again, part of that great year, about 4 months ago, PCC caught wind and picked all 3 sauces for all 16 stores.
You're a SKU at PCC.
I am, and
That's
it's
awesome.
been doing
Big
really
time.
well. Yeah, and the tough thing there is people walk down the sauce aisle, they go, oh, I don't trust anything. I don't know what it is, you know. So my first few months is getting out for demos and saying, this is who I am. This is Woodinville. This is kind of what I'm trying to do, and give it a try. Just try it, and they sample. I'm like, okay, yeah, and they'll take a bottle. And then once they see the chef on the bottle, then they'll okay, I trust that brand, and they buy them, and it's really doing well. So, but I've got Dos Haches. It's my chili sauce.
Okay. And now on the spice level, how hot is it?
It's not. Now,
Okay.
if you could take heat, then you'll be fine, and it's going to be, oh yeah, that's a nice egg sauce, a chilaquiles sauce.
Oh, gotcha.
Or, you know, it's got a smokiness to it that goes great on avocado toast, you know.
Okay.
And I love it on my eggs just as is. And I made it a little thicker, so it sits on the food and kind of spread it around, and it doesn't run away from me. You don't waste a lot of it on the plate.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of in between a salsa and a hot sauce, where you can actually sit
Okay.
on the couch
And
and
put
eat
it
a
with your chips.
Guilty.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit, but that's what we do. So it's just really turned out really nice.
Okay.
Dos Haches is 2 H's. My brother-in-law was with me when I was messing around with this one for the week that I was, working on it, and I gave him some credit for being there to taste it and say, hey, why don't you try this too?
Yeah.
And it was a really neat bonding experience with my brother-in-law. But that's why I gave him credit on the bottle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
my
2
That's
H's.
great.
Yeah.
I love that you've got pairs perfectly with tacos, eggs. I think that's a sandwich. I haven't got my glasses on, so I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
see. And it's only 10 calories per serving. I like that.
That one is less out. There's no sugar in that one.
Right.
Barely any.
All right, so you have that one. Then you talked about the blackberry one. Tell us about that one a little bit.
So that one is probably the most local because of the blackberries and the ingredients and honey. I kind of be able to find local hive honey, which is different people in the area, there are different beekeepers that contribute to that, and I can buy from that, which is really nice.
That's great for your allergies then too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that one's gluten-free, which is really
Okay.
cool. There's no fillers like in any of these, but this one actually is also gluten-free. But which is really nice because the viscosity in it with the natural sugars and the way it holds together it's really thick, like a barbecue sauce, like it should be, real smooth. But I'm going right into a pairing here. Here we use charcuterie platters everywhere. You put it over goat cheese and it just sits there with some crackers and your aged meats, or on brie, and it's just a fruity, smoky. It's like having a barbecue without the barbecue.
Without the barbecue, so a replacement.
It's great for
I
those
love
platters.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, because apricot jam is great, or the fig jam, but you can have something different that's really
Yeah.
local. That sounds good.
Yeah, and there's a little smokiness to it too. So you're like, wow, did I just have
A barbecue and a
Exactly.
small plate barbecue. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it.
But that one is number one seller for sure. It samples the best off a spoon. I mean,
Okay.
I have customers say, Chef, I drink it. And I said, don't drink it. There is sugar. And
It's not calorie free.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so the barbecue, and then what's the third?
the third one is called Asian Q, and it's a Korean-style barbecue sauce. And you can use it in a bibimbap or a rice bowl or a stir fry, kind of like you would do a sriracha if you want. But it also does phenomenal on meats when you grill them. So I would say do your baby backs and your briskets how you always do them, but then finish it with that and let it caramelize. And it makes a wonderful crust like the blackberry, but it's just a kind of a newer, different, like Asian style flavor where
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
not traditional, if you will, American style. But that was inspired by the last place I worked and helped with a good friend of mine from a fast casual restaurant. So everywhere I've been, something's inspired
There's
me,
an
obviously,
influence
and
somewhere.
it's neat to share those things through the sauce.
Are you getting influenced here, Troy? Because you like to cook, right?
I like to eat.
Okay.
Don't we all?
I thought you liked
No,
to cook a little.
I do like to cook a little. I don't do it as much as I should, but definitely like to cook more of the fancy stuff.
Nice.
Right, there's some good sauces there that you
Yeah.
could accompany.
Yeah, these are everything sauces, and
Okay.
you design them so it's to take the guesswork out for most people. But
Right.
it's neat. You can turn these into other ones too. You
I
don't have
like
to
the-
use them as is.
I like the ideas though, because it's like all right, I'm just gonna put this with chicken, or and
Just quick, and then you don't have to do all the hard part.
Right.
Yeah.
but I like putting it on a charcuterie board.
I like that idea
Yeah.
too. But yeah, the barbecue based in I think is really nice because I mean, barbecue sauce is barbecue sauce. I mean, it's not very revolutionary until you add something different to it, right?
Sure,
So,
sure.
yeah.
Well, it'd be cool, right? Because Kansas City has their style, and
Uh-huh.
Carolina has their style,
Right.
and Texas. What if Woodinville gets their
Woodinville
style?
has
I
their
mean, it's all
style.
fruit based.
Right.
And we just start
Wine,
this trend.
fruit
Fruit,
sauces.
grapes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
let's
like
do
it.
it.
He
10
really
years
is good
from
at
now.
marketing, isn't
He
he?
is. He is.
Yeah.
All right, so accolades. Don't be shy.
Yeah, so it's been pretty cool. So you meet people at these markets, and you go to these chamber events and different things, and you start talking about certain things that you're doing, and through that and the relationship you build, I just had a really amazing article put out, 425 Business, on my business. But the way it was put together and just how emotional and just well done, and the time they spent, and was a good one for me and for my company. And it really was pretty neat there.
We'll have to link our listeners up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Thank you. Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Make a note.
More work for Bam.
Yeah.
I haven't put my sauce in these. You can do the award things, and you can submit your sauces, and I haven't been spending a lot of time on that piece of my business to get, because you see on a lot of these sauce companies, award-winning, runner-up, and that's that's true, and it can be great, but I feel like that's a marketing thing, and it really is.
Yeah.
And I've been really focusing on the community, what it is, the brand, and kind of, and I'm saying this, when you try it, you'll like it, and then you might not appreciate everything about it, but I typically do really well at these little markets like the farmers market here, because they try it and they buy, and that's pretty cool because it's a sauce, and they last a long time in a fridge, and chances are that person probably has 6 others in their fridge,
right?
And they're willing to move those over and put a local brand in there, and then trust that there's real ingredients there. They're not chimping on something and have some corn syrup.
But I think your sauce speaks for itself. It doesn't necessarily need the accolades on the bottle. I mean, it's nice that 425 magazine has featured you and they've written a really good article. But I mean, has the experience of being in 425 impacted your business in a obviously, hopefully in a positive way?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm not sure yet because it's pretty new as far as the reach, but I do know that just the community itself, Krish, who's the CEO of PCC, which I didn't know at the time, he came up at one of these demos and he didn't introduce him, just started talking to me. Started talking about India, and he happens to be from India. And we just chatting and having a good time. He's trying the sauce, and he, of course he knows who I am. I have no idea who he is. And then I get the article. It comes, and I'm reading it, and I flip the next page, and there's an article on the CEO of PCC in the same magazine on the next page, and then I go, oh, geez.
That's who I was talking to.
That's pretty cool.
But those kind of influences and things come out of that have been pretty cool. And he thanked after that, I ran into him, he thanked me for that article, which is interesting because I'm just one little sauce guy.
Right,
He's
but it
this
highlights
big business.
Yeah, but it highlights PCC in a good way, right? Because they are really true to what they say they're doing, and which is supporting local, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Local fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
And then also taking care of us as small business.
For sure.
Not to sit here and just pump PCC, but I'll tell you what, working in the business early on and seeing what you had to do to get in a Kroger store, which is pretty much the same way. I'm not talking bad about the company, but it's hard. There's a lot more rules on and how much they need to make their businesses run, whereas PCC is willing to take some of those margins out to take care of the little guy, which has been really wonderful for us.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
That's great.
Well, we could talk and talk and talk. I think we'll probably have to have you back for another go round, especially.
For sure.
I'm
Some red.
assuming that
Or
you're
some
going to
red.
have. Yeah.
We'll have to ask him next time what he wants.
I know. Maybe we should do a poll with all of our guests.
That's very good.
I still have to work this afternoon. So.
I know. Me too.
Troy, do you have any follow-up questions before we do the
Well,
gem
yeah,
bit?
I just love the fact that you have a community element to it. You try and source local, and you're in and out and around the city here in Woodinville. Yeah, I know you're at the Pizza Coop, right?
Oh,
They
yeah,
use some of your
absolutely.
sauces?
Yeah, and I said you're talking about the bigger ones, but yes, Pizza Coop, Beth.
Can they buy your stuff at Pizza Coop if they wanted to?
I'll get calls. Yeah, Brian. And
Okay.
I'll stock Brian up.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Good. They're awesome
They've been
people.
phenomenal. For
yeah.
me, yeah. It's been
Where
great.
else can they find it locally then?
So I'm talking with our local butcher, but we haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. It's mostly Mount Lake Terrace and then Salish Lodge and Maiden, Washington, and so there's quite a few little guys out there. As far as we don't have a lot of cutesy shops, which might be a phase 2 for the Woodinville Sauce Company.
Exactly. Yes.
I would love a retail spot at one point, but I'm looking to figure that one out.
There we go. Connect with Adam from Woodinville Wine Country.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you talk to Bree.
A Heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got the little tart next
Yeah.
door. It's got
Tart
some
by Heritage,
mercantile
though.
in
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
I've been by there. Yeah.
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 So.
I'm sure there's lots
No
of
pressure
opportunities. Yeah.
on Bree or you. But
And,
Just,
conversations are great.
Just
You never
throwing
know.
ideas out
Yeah.
there. All right. So we always ask our guests, what's their favorite local spot in the community, and what are some of your favorite places?
I have to say, it's because of the kids, and they're 9. Vivi with Patterson is just great because we can get they can get their pizza, we
And
can
you
have
can
our
get what you
tasting,
need.
and there's a fountain, and you get to watch the little, the roundabout.
the roundabout is very entertaining.
It's very entertaining. We've seen
Yes.
some wild things over the years. I'm sure you have too.
yes.
People still don't know how to use that. But yeah, it's
That
probably
makes
our
me chuckle
favorite.
being from the UK, watching,
I know.
when those things first went in, watching everybody trying to navigate them. I'm like, what is going on?
I think they're wonderful.
Yeah.
They are fantastic. Where I
Except
lived
when
in
you're
S-
behind a timid driver.
Yeah.
So-
Well, where I lived in Swindon in England, and we had
Oh, wow.
what was called the magic roundabout, and it was 5 roundabouts,
Oh,
all
wow.
one in the middle, and then
Oh,
round.
no.
Yeah, you had to figure your way around it. Yeah,
Oh my
I'd love to
gosh.
see that happen here. Carnage.
Not gonna happen.
No. All right.
Well,
Okay.
that's
Well,
awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you so
Thanks
much,
for
and thanks
having
for
me.
bringing those in and
Yeah.
talking about them. And like I said, if we've told everybody where they can find you, at the end we'll give them your website address as well. But we're going to swiftly move on to our real estate roundup. Okay. All right, Troy, you ready?
I am ready.
All right.
Locked and loaded.
The question of the week: what are closing costs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm often asked about closing costs, and there's several misnomers about them. There's actual closing costs associated with purchasing a house on the buyer side and on the seller side. Some of those costs are shared between buyer and seller. And then there's also what's called prepaids, which is basically you prepay your taxes, some of your insurance. If there's an HOA, you pay some of that. So those are technically closing costs that you have to pay when you close, but they're credited towards your purchase, basically. So on the buy side, there's you have to buy a title policy if you're getting a mortgage. For the amount of the mortgage, you insure the title, and that's a portion, a percentage of the purchase, or a percentage of the mortgage amount.
Okay.
And then there's also different recording fees, and then there's escrow charges, and those are the charges. The escrow charges are split between buyer and seller.
Okay.
So typically the seller and buyer pay half of those on the
Okay.
one transaction. And then there's reserves. The prepaids are going to be your homeowner's insurance reserves. So you have to pay homeowner's insurance policy for the year, and then also pay reserves, which is escrowed with your lender. So people get confused. Sometimes there's an escrow company that closes your loan, but then the lender oftentimes has an escrow account for your benefit to pay insurance and taxes.
Okay.
So those go into your mortgage payment every month.
So that's some of the things we're paying for. What else are the kind of big ticket items on those?
The
closing
big
costs?
ticket items for the buyers are going to be any sort of taxes that you need to pay in reserves, interest, and those are all credited towards your purchase. They're not really they're expenses, but they're paid in advance, basically.
Okay.
So the big expense for a buyer is going to be your loan costs. So costs to get a loan are not recouped, and they're not credited towards the purchase at all. So some loans come with what's called points. You have to pay points to the mortgage company.
Is that to pay down the interest rate, or is that something different?
That's actually to sometimes it's to pay down the interest rate. Other times it's to just fund the loan. They charge typical is 1% of the loan amount goes to the lender, and that goes into their fee that they get paid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, and then there's the appraisal costs, inspection costs, and so typically those costs are going to total maybe about 2% to be conservative
Right.
on the purchase price. So that's what you need to budget for, just kind of costs and fees to buy a house.
Okay.
And then on the seller side, that's the seller more often than not pays all the commissions for both the buyer's agent and the selling agent.
Mm-hmm.
And then another big expense for the seller is going to be excise tax, and that's
Scary word.
That is a tax for being the privilege of being in business with the state of Washington.
I'm sure it's other states too, Troy.
I know it's a sliding scale fee, but basically it's 1.78% or so
Okay.
of the sale price of the house goes to the county, and it's split up between different entities. But a lot of it goes to the state of Washington.
Right. But every state's going to have their own rules about that.
Every state's going to
Yeah.
have, but yeah, we're local here to Woodinville, and so in Washington,
Yeah.
those are the main fees, and then
So-
there's of course the escrow fee. We talked about that already.
Yeah.
For the seller.
And so the commission fees, that's a big thing for people. I think that's a whole nother question that we'll do on another show. But just so
Right.
people know, those commission fees are not paid up front. Those are paid at closing. Hence the reason we've got the question of what our closing costs.
Yeah.
So who's the money go to?
Which money is that?
All of it. I'm just kidding.
All of it. It's all handled by escrow, and escrow basically divvies it out to every entity that needs it. There's about 150 people involved in one real estate transaction, and some of them get paid, others don't along the way. But we basically allow escrow to take care of all that for us. The broker fees on the sell side are, that's the majority of the expense to sell a house.
Yeah.
And that's split.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It goes to two different agents.
Two different agents, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm hearing is that buying and selling a house is quite complicated. So, if you're thinking about it, it's wise to engage an expert like Troy Anderson.
Yes. We have great software where we just plug the numbers in and give you an idea of how much an estimated closing costs to buy or sell is going to be, and then go through different scenarios. What makes more sense for you, and kind of do a discovery that way.
Yeah, it always blows my mind actually when you say that there's like 150 people involved in one transaction of a buying or selling a property, and that's a lot. So that's where it becomes complicated. And so having resources like this show or an agent that is experienced can kind of navigate you through the whole process so that you don't kind of lose your way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's every step of the way. I like the analogy of an airline pilot. So the real estate agent is kind of the airline pilot. It's a lot of activity right up front, a lot of checks and balances, and then you get up in the air. You're flying over the Midwest. There's not a whole lot to do there while you're doing that. And that's kind of the real estate transaction. In the middle, you're not doing much. But when you come in for landing, you got to go back through all that stuff and make sure everything's coming together and all those pieces do come back together so you can land safely.
Perfect. Okay. All right. I learn something every time I'm on the show, even though I'm the co-host.
Well, that's good. We're always learning.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for this week. Thank you again to Dave of
thank you.
Woodinville Sauce Company. Where can people connect with you?
So they can go to www.wsauceco.com. So really simple, and my tags are all WSauceco.
Okay.
I even have hats that say WSauceco. And Woodinville.
At WSauceco on Instagram.
It makes it pretty easy. It's WSauceco at Instagram. Cool. But they could go to PCC. They could go to Off the Branch down the road. That's in Redmond, just outside of Woodinville. I don't know if you've ever been there. The cider, this little cider place.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she carries. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the name of it.
Yeah, it's Off the Branch.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there was a small hiatus. I think they just kind of reopened a year ago or something. But
I just go to the place that says they have a 100-year-old cider press.
yeah,
That's
it's cool.
It
yeah.
is.
All right.
Yeah, so a place like that. But the best way is just online as well. And I have fancy gift packs. They can buy those for people. I sell to 23 different states so far.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, people love that for the holidays.
Great gift ideas. There's
Yes.
some holidays coming up. Mother's Day, Father's Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great Father's Day gift for grilling.
Yeah, grill time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
grill time, exactly.
Mom
Are-
likes to grill, too.
Your mum does?
No,
Mums do, yeah. I know, I always forget that because I don't think about myself as, wanting to get out there and do the barbecue. I'm like, yeah, someone else can do that. I do enough cooking at home.
There you go. You get the refinement.
Yeah,
the refinement
exactly.
cooking.
All right, well, if you have real estate questions, you know where to find us. We are Tend Home Team. I'm your co-host, Pamela, with...
Troy Anderson, tendhometeam.com.
And you can give Troy a call at 206-504-3660. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe. We're available on all the platforms, or you can go watch us on YouTube. And
Ding the dinger.
He means subscribe. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you looking for a real estate company that truly cares about the community and has a wealth of experience in the local market? Look no further than Tend Home Team. With over 20 years of experience here in the Pacific Northwest, we know the ins and outs of the real estate market like the back of our hand. Whether you're buying or selling a home, our team of experts is here to guide you every step of the way. And best of all, we make the process fun and stress-free. We love getting to know our clients and helping them find their dream home or sell their property quickly and easily. So if you want a real estate company that's truly focused on you and your needs, choose Tend Home Team. We can't wait to work with you. Contact us at tendhometeam.com or 206-504-3660.